You make more money today than you did 5 years ago. You got the promotion, you finally bought the house. You drive a reliable, good-looking car. On paper, you are absolutely winning. So why does it feel like you are one unexpected medical bill away from a complete financial meltdown? Why does it feel like no matter how fast you run, the treadmill just keeps speeding up, and everyone else is somehow light years ahead of you? Listen to me carefully. That feeling in your gut isn't paranoia, it's pattern recognition. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Amy Invests, and today we are having a very real conversation. The exact things you were told would make you successful. The mortgage, the car, the lifestyle upgrades are the exact things quietly draining your bank account. Not dramatically, not overnight, but steadily, month after month. Did you know that 74% of Americans harbor a deep financial regret? And the number one regret for people in their 40s and 50s isn't buying too many lattes. It's not saving for retirement early enough. But here is the massive secret the financial industry refuses to tell you. Most of these people didn't end up broke because they were reckless. They didn't blow their cash at casinos. They ended up broke because they fell into traps disguised as responsible adult decisions. Traps that looked like progress, but were actually financial quicksand. Today, I am going to expose the 10 invisible traps swallowing middle-class earners in their 30s and 40s. I'm rearranging the puzzle pieces so you can finally see the big picture. Now, this isn't financial advice, and I don't know your specific bank balance, but I do know how the system is rigged. If you want to stop just surviving and start actually building wealth, pay attention. Let's break down the 3 categories of traps: the American dream illusions, the psychological sinkholes, and the future me disasters. Let's get into it. Let's start with the things you were literally taught to strive for. Trap number 1, the pre-approval illusion. You want to buy a house. You go to the bank. The bank runs your numbers and says, "Congratulations, you're approved for $400,000. You think, "Great! The bank says I can afford this, and I'm a responsible adult." Wrong. The bank's definition of affordable is completely detached from reality. When a lender pre-approves you, they are calculating the absolute maximum amount you can pay without immediately defaulting on your loan. You know what their algorithms don't care about? Your toddler's daycare costs, your need to occasionally go on a vacation, the concept of an emergency fund. They calculate what you can survive on, not what you can thrive on. Right now, owning a median-priced home consumes nearly 48% of the median household's income. Let that sink in. Almost half of everything you earn, gone. Poof, to one asset. The traditional rule says housing shouldn't exceed 30%, but we have blown past that by a mile. When you max out your approval, you become what we call house rich and cash poor. The AC breaks, crisis. Property taxes go up, panic. The fix? Buy at 70% of your maximum approval. A smaller house with financial peace always beats a mansion filled with financial panic. Which brings us directly to trap number 2, the suburban sprawl mirage. You realize houses are expensive, so you say, "Let's move out to the suburbs. It's so much cheaper." Is it? Because now, you need 2 cars instead of 1. You're spending more on gas, insurance, and maintenance. You're spending 2 extra hours a day in traffic. Hours you could have spent starting a side hustle, cooking healthy meals, or just being with your family. Studies consistently prove we underestimate the true cost of commuting. That house that cost $50,000 less, once you factor in 2 car payments and gas over 10 years, it actually cost you more. Always calculate the total cost of your geography. And speaking of cars, trap number 3, the $700 metal box. If there's one thing that will single-handedly destroy your wealth in your 30s, it's a car payment. In 2026, the average monthly payment on a new car is $772. That is not a typo. Over 20% of new car buyers are committing to payments over $1,000 a month. And to make it affordable, 22% of borrowers are stretching these loans out to 84 months. 7 years. You are paying interest for 7 years on an asset that is literally losing value every time you back out of the driveway. Let's do some brutal math. If you pay $750 a month over 6 years, you spend $54,000. When the loan is done, that car is maybe worth $15,000. You just incinerated $35,000 in depreciation. What if you bought a reliable used car for $15,000 cash, or financed it for just $300 a month? If you took that $450 difference and invested it into an S&P 500 index fund at an 8% return, in 30 years, you'd have over $670,000. Every luxury car you buy in your 30s is you actively choosing present comfort over future wealth. Period. Now, let's talk about the traps inside your own head. Group 2 is all about psychology. Trap number 4, keeping up with your income peers. When you were $23,000 a year, you and your friends were all eating ramen and splitting the bill. It was easy. But in your 30s and 40s, income dispersion hits hard. One friend is making half of what you make. Another is making triple. Suddenly, your neighbor brings home a Tesla. Your coworker is posting from a villa in Italy. Your college roommate just bought a lake house. What do? You feel a deep psychological pressure to prove that you are doing equally well. But here's the reality check. You don't know their balance sheet. Maybe they have a spouse making $500,000 a year. Or, more likely, maybe they are drowning in catastrophic debt just to maintain that illusion. Social comparison disconnects your spending from your reality. The only person you should be competing with is yourself from a year ago. Which leads to trap number 5, the I earned it creep. Also known as lifestyle inflation. This one doesn't feel like a trap. It feels like a reward. You went from making $50,000 to $90,000, an 80% increase in income, but your savings account hasn't grown. Where did the money go? It went everywhere. You upgraded from an apartment to a house. You upgraded your phone. You started buying premium subscriptions, flying business class, going to Michelin star restaurants. You tell yourself, I work hard, I deserve nice things. And you do. But the cumulative effect is that your expenses grew exactly as fast as your income. You have zero margin. The fix? The 50/50ths rule. Every time you get a raise, 50% goes to lifestyle upgrades, and 50% goes directly to investments. Your life gets better, and your net worth gets bigger. Trap number 6 is the most dangerous psychological trick of all. Debt normalization. Americans currently owe $18.8 trillion in consumer debt. The average household carries over $15,000 in debt. And Gen X, people in their 40s and 50s, they hold more debt than any other age group on the planet. $4.8 trillion. But because everyone has a mortgage, everyone has a car payment, and everyone has a credit card balance, it feels normal. It stops feeling like an emergency and just feels like life. Do you know what a 20% interest rate on a credit card does to you? If you have a $6,000 balance and make the minimum payments, you will be paying that off for decades. You will pay thousands in pure interest. Aggressively paying down high-interest debt is not a casual, multi-year project. It is a financial 5-alarm fire. Treat it like one. All right, we've covered the house, the cars, the ego. Now, let's talk about the final category. The things you put off, ignore, or fail to plan for. Trap number 7, the daycare nuke. This one is brutal because it's unavoidable for parents. The average cost of daycare in the US is over $17,000 a year for one infant, in places like DC or Massachusetts. It's $24,000. Got a toddler and an infant? You're looking at $28,000 a year. For millions of people, daycare costs more than rent. It consumes 20% to 37% of a household's income. The trap isn't the childcare. You need childcare. The trap is buying the expensive house and leasing the expensive car before factoring in the cost of kids. People lock themselves into massive fixed expenses, have a baby, and suddenly realize they have to stop contributing to retirement entirely just to afford daycare. If you want kids, price out the daycare before you sign the mortgage. Trap number 8, the perfect timing delusion. I'll start investing when the market crashes. I'll buy a house when interest rates drop to 3% again. I'll save more when I get my next promotion. You tell yourself you're being a savvy investor by waiting for optimal conditions. But guess what? Optimal conditions are a myth. When the market drops, you'll be too scared to buy. When house prices drop, you'll be worried about losing your job. Starting today, with $50 and imperfect conditions, we'll always mathematically beat waiting 5 years for a perfect moment that never arrives. Trap number 9, the busy trap. I hear this every single day. Amy, I'm working 50 hours a week. I'm commuting. I'm raising kids. I'm exhausted. I don't have time to look at my portfolio. You are so busy working for your money that you have zero time to make your money work for you. You stay in default mode. You keep the same expensive car insurance. You pay the same dumb subscription fees. You never negotiate your salary. Being busy is not a badge of honor when it costs you hundreds of thousands of dollars. An hour of financial review every quarter can literally shave years off your retirement age. Schedule a meeting with your money. Which brings us to our final, ultimate trap. Trap number 10, retirement procrastination. In your 30s, retirement feels like a sci-fi movie. It's too far away. You have a wedding to pay for, student loans, a mortgage. You say, I'll catch up in my 40s. Now you have kids in travel sports, a bigger house, aging parents. You say, I'll definitely catch up in my 50s. By your 50s, the math becomes your worst enemy. If you wait until 50, you'll need to save 30% or more of your income just to survive old age. The median retirement balance for people in their late 50s is only $185,000. That sounds decent until you realize it has to fund 30 years of your life. What is the absolute minimum you should be doing right now? Get your full employer 401k match. Max out a Roth IRA at $7,500. Automate it so you never even see the money hit your checking account. Future you is begging present you to do this today. Here is the most terrifying thing about these 10 traps. They do not operate in a vacuum. They compound. You stretch to buy the big suburban house. Because of the sprawl, you buy 2 nice cars. Because you're stressed about those payments, you spend more on lifestyle luxuries to feel better. Because of all this, you have no money for childcare, so you rely on credit cards. And because you are drowning in all of this, you're too busy to fix it and you put off retirement forever. It is a perfectly engineered web, but I want you to hear this loud and clear. You are not bad with money. You are simply living in a consumer ecosystem that was aggressively optimized by billionaires to separate you from your paycheck before it even clears. Banks want you in debt, dealerships want you financing, brands want you upgrading. It's not a moral failure, but it is your responsibility to wake up. Imagine the alternative. You buy a modest house with room in the budget to breathe. You drive a reliable paid-off car. You save half of every raise you get. You automate your investments. You stop caring what your neighbor thinks about your shoes. When you do that, you stop running on the treadmill. You buy back your freedom. You create actual tangible options for your future. If you're in your 30s, you have the greatest asset in the world, time. Use it. If you're in your 40s, you have less time, but more income. Get aggressive. Cut the dead weight. The ground does not have to crumble beneath your feet, but you have to stop voluntarily walking toward the cracks. The traps are real, but now you have the map to walk right around them. If this video opened your eyes today, hit that subscribe button down below. It's the easiest, totally free investment you can make in your financial education. Leave a comment telling me which of these traps caught you in the past. I read every single one. I'm Amy Invests. Keep your money smart, and I'll see you in the next video.